Welcome to Phil Wilson Chats with Celebrities. And here is your host, Phil Wilson.
Curb Records pop artist, songwriter and producer Sarah Reeves officially brings her long-awaited album, Best Days. And since last year, Reeves has been quietly teasing her upcoming release, dropping singles, reels and music videos at a rapid pace, all leading up to the unveiling of the complete 16-song studio set. And Sarah joins me now. How are you doing, Sarah?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm very good, thank you. And I'm so pleased to catch up with you because I'm sure it was summer 2023 is when I last spoke to you. And can you bring us up to date with what you've been doing since last summer?
Gosh, is that when we talked last summer?
I'm sure it's last August. I think you just released Get Your Fight Back.
Yes, that's right. Well, I released the rest of that album. So there's 16 songs, as you said, on the Best Days album. So that came out in September. And then I went straight into releasing a Christmas album. So my year was so full last year of just releasing music. And then the last couple months, I've kind of been on a little bit of a break.
You deserve it, though, the break, after all of that promotion.
Yeah, I think it's actually something that's so necessary that it's hard for me to really let myself breathe and relax because it's almost like I can feel guilty for taking time off, you know, because I'm like, I should be working. But if I don't take that time off, then I'm not as creative and on it as I should be in the next season. So I've just tried to kind of embrace this season of chill, and it's starting to pick back up, which is fun and exciting. So
excellent. So yes, enjoy the rest of your break, as it were. Now, with your Christmas album there, because you know that we'll love it, and I love it personally, and we discussed it last time. I was just going to ask you this question: did you manage to fit any more on that Christmas album?
Any more?
Yes, because I think you were going to add some extra songs on, and then I asked you if you're able to fit them on the vinyl, and you were going, I don't know, mind.
Yeah, well, we didn't make a vinyl yet of the new songs, but I did add 4 more songs on that project. So It's coming. It's usually like a year after is when I get like the vinyl, because it takes a while to do all that. But it's on Spotify and Apple Music, all the new songs, which I love. And it was so fun. I did like a little Christmas show where I live in Nashville and had everybody dressed up. And it was so fancy and fun. So it's definitely a tradition that I do.
Yes, you did a bit of touring as well, didn't you? From August onwards. Where did you visit again?
Yeah.
Before you went on your Christmas tour?
Yes. So I actually was in London and I was in Germany. And I had a radio tour that I did here in America.
Right.
So I was kind of all over the place here, just off and on visiting different radio stations, doing some smaller, like intimate concerts, and also doing like live on-air interviews. So that was fun. Yeah, it was exciting.
Any big stations that you could mention that you visited when you were across America there? Did you go to Kiss FM or anywhere like that?
No, I didn't go to Kiss FM. Gosh, I feel like they all run together in my head.
They're all letters, aren't they? It's like Coast 103. It's like WABC.
I know. I can't ever get all the letters and everything. I'm like, I have radio promoters that know exactly, like, they know all the letter combinations and where the cities are and what the names are of the promoters. And I'm like, how do you keep up with all of this? I really try. But it's funny because the radio tours sometimes just look like going to dinner with people, you know, so I never know if I'm going to play a show or be on an interview or go to dinner with someone just to talk about the song. So it's really interesting this season.
That's right, because you can be interviewed in all sorts of locations. Somebody can just take a Zoom mic with them and they can just set it up there, and you could be just having a glass of wine or whatever. And having your food. Great stuff.
Yeah, exactly. It's just putting a face to the name and the song, and just getting to know the people that hopefully will be playing my music. So that's all really important.
It certainly is. Now, your new album, Best Days, was written wholly by yourself, and after a few personal setbacks, you have been able to get your fight back with this album. Could you tell us more about that?
Yeah, so actually the Best Days album was written between me and a few of collaborators that I worked with out in LA, which was so fun. I was at the time I was going through a divorce, which was really hard. And that's why I kind of wanted to keep it very intimate with my people, and, just somebody that I could really trust, and trust that it was a sacred space for me to just like let out my thoughts and emotions, and which ultimately turned to songs that were very healing and therapeutic for me, in hopes that they would be healing for other people, which they have been. It's been really beautiful to see the response. And then Get Back Your Fight was one that I did later after the album was pretty much mixed and mastered and ready to go. Yeah. And then I went into my studio and wrote this song and produced it by myself and posted it on Instagram and TikTok, and it kind of went viral. And I'm like, wow, what is happening? And so we ended up adding that one on, and that became the single of the album, which is so crazy how life works like that. You think you have a plan, and then all of a sudden everything changes in the moment. But my team was really great to kind of pivot, and we worked that song to radio the last year, and it's been doing really well. And just to see so many people get their fight back, get their strength back that they, that they lost along the way, and battling their own personal journeys, and me being vulnerable has kind of helped them be vulnerable and open up as well.
That's right. A very therapeutic album as well. And I absolutely love it. And just before coming on to speak to you, I did watch that video again of when you are sitting outside of like that hardware store with the two televisions. And that's Get Back Your Fight, isn't it?
Yes, it is. You caught that. Yeah. It's so funny. I was just in this really beautiful town in Yellow Springs, Ohio, and walked into this hardware store. And, I'm always trying to figure out new places to do TikToks. And, that's like the new thing. And that's not new anymore, but that's like how most people are doing their marketing. And so the person that owned the shop was really sweet. And he's like, do you have anything you want to play on the TVs? I'm like, sure. And then my friend that was with me just like videoed it really quickly, and, just trying to find little moments like that and posting them on social media.
Because it looked absolutely fantastic. I mean, how did you get your pictures on those tellies? It's like you would have had to put it on like a Betamax or something.
Yeah, I don't know.
And then plug it in the tellies.
He literally just plugged in my phone, and I put in that video from YouTube, and it showed up. He has like a whole system there. It's really cool, like a hardware store of all places. But, they're all cool with what they're doing and hip with different things that they like to do. So
I bet you that would go on someone's Christmas list as well. A bit of nostalgia gift that, let's see what I look like on an old-fashioned telly.
Yeah, exactly. So
love
cool.
it.
I love it.
At the end of the video, you should have had a thing where, when he used to turn the television off, it would have a little dot.
Right. Yeah.
When it had switched off.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe for your next video.
Yes.
Excellent. Absolutely love it. Now, Billboards on Sunset is a personal favourite of mine, and have been featured as my gem of the week on my breakfast show that I host. What is the inspiration behind the track? Because I absolutely love it.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So I have a list of titles in my phone. That's kind of how I approach songwriting, is I like to start with the title. So I'll randomly hear things in a conversation, or I'll see something in a book or that I'm reading. And this specific moment, I was staying in this super nice hotel on this the famous Sunset Strip in LA. And I was looking out and there were all these billboards and like flashing lights in the building. And I was like, oh, and I wrote down in my phone and the title is Billboards on Sunset. And I'm like, that could be a cool song title. I don't really know what the storyline could be, but let's just put it out there. And then probably a month later or so, my co-writer, Paul Duncan, came over and I gave him this list. And I'm like, we're trying to find, ideas for a song. And I'm like, here's my list of titles if you want to look through them. And he picked that one. He's like, Billboards on Sunset. What angle could we do with this? And we kind of were talking about different angles for the story, and then finally we came up with this kind of like sassy song, a bit of an attitude of just like, what do you expect? A billboard on Sunset, with a relationship or a friendship that you're in where you're doing everything you can and it's still never good enough for the person that you love. And so we went with that angle and it turned into this like really fun pop song, which I was really pleased with. And so I'm glad that you're playing it. Thank you.
Yes, it's all fresh and new. And it's a good job you didn't write down, when you were there on Sunset Strip, buy your donuts here.
Yeah, exactly. I know, there's so many things. It's overwhelming. It is overwhelming. It's just every advertisement and movie and Netflix show and store, it's like it's all right there.
It's like it's all there in neon for you to see there at night as well. Because obviously when you watch all of these films and things and they've been filmed on Sunset Strip, that's how that came to my mind. Those kinds of signs are, motel with like an arrow and, funny things like that. But yes, I like things like that, It's a bit like it's like Piccadilly Circus, except on a larger scale.
Yeah, exactly.
With all the lights.
I love it.
Advertisements. I love it. Yes. Now, on the Best Days album, you've sung with Taylor Hill. How did that collaboration come about, as it sounds like a great combination?
Yes, thank you. So Taylor was one of the first people that I wrote with for this album. He was introduced to me by one of my team members here in Nashville, and I flew out to LA, which is where he lives, and we just kind of like sat together and talked. It's really interesting, the songwriting process, because a lot of times it's with a complete stranger, and writing a song is very vulnerable, so you kind of have to start opening up. You talk for like the first hour and get to know each other, and then maybe there's a song idea somewhere in there. And so Taylor and I just hit it off from the very beginning, and I just knew, I'm like, I want you to be a part of this album, because we just had this like heart connection, and I really loved what he brought to the table musically, and his voice is insane. He always stretched my vocal cords. I don't think I've ever sang as like high and loud as I have on this project. I just sing from my gut. It's like coming from a different place in my body that I didn't even know I could hit. And he always put, stretched my vocal cords in that way. So I loved that he was challenging, and or he always challenged me as a vocalist and as a songwriter. So it was really fun to collaborate with him.
And when I listened to the song just before coming on air here, when I listened to the song, I noticed that at the beginning of the song there, he's like singing underneath you. Then all of a sudden he starts going into his kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's quite surprising. No, but it's quite surprising. It's great. Because I was thinking, right, yeah, that must be Taylor there in the background there, singing with Sarah in the background. Is his voice going to be like that all the way through? And then it was like, wow. And he's going into there doing his bit of it's kind of rap. Would you call it that?
Yeah, it's crazy how he gets in the booth, the way that he writes, and he kind of freestyles. And
it's freestyling.
A lot of it is just kind of gibberish at first, and he's like spinning out these melodies, and then words will come on top of this gibberish, and then it's like, oh yeah, that works, and then this works, and which is how I like to write too, is you just get on a microphone and it's just gibberish, like literally just like you're not saying anything, but somehow words come out, and then that becomes the song. It's really this crazy thing that happens. And so we were all just like sitting in the room. He was in the booth, I was there, and then my two other producers and co-writers. And we were just like freaking out because he was just making magic in his own world. And all of this came out in about probably 30 minutes to an hour. And we're like, yep, that's it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
It does sound absolutely fantastic as well on the track. So everyone check that track out there with Taylor Hill there on the Best Days album. Now also Trigg features Social House. How did that come about?
Yes, so this was another introduction by my team. I was very open with this project. I'm like, I want to work with new people. And they were one of the first, actually, this Triggered was the first session that I had for the album. And, and they were there and it was just like magic. Like there was a lot of chemistry and it was just so fun. I just remember, sometimes, nothing against Nashville, but sometimes in Nashville, it's like people are on this strict schedule. It's like 10 to 2, we're going to write a song and then everybody's going to go back to their families and do their own thing. And it's like you feel that. But when I was with them, I remember it was just hanging out for like a few hours and then we'd write and we'd laugh and we'd have a good time and then we'd go eat and then we'd come back and we'd,
Yes.
And it was all about the vibe. And I was like, this is so fun. And this is such a different way to create because it's just like, there's no pressure at all. No. And that's kind of the thing that I wanted to be intentional about on this project is to not overthink anything and just to like have fun and let the music come when it comes. And they really taught me that. And then they ended up featuring on the song as well, which was really special because they're just great guys and just super talented. So very honored to have them on the project.
And on the album, everything all comes across so nice as well, because I think if you can have a bit of tension there with strictness in the studio and things, I think that'll come out in your vocal as well, because you'll be all a bit uptight and it'll be like, it means you'd have to be probably doing more takes and things because you're not quite in the zone, but it's nice when you can chill out and things and that you're able to go, right, let's do lunch, not look at the time and go, oh, it's 1 o'clock, let's go now. Just wait until you all feel right and then right to go back in the studio and relax.
Yeah, imagine that, taking our time, not taking life. Yeah, it was definitely interesting and something that I want to continue to do.
Because Tony Christie, he's a singer that you may know of. He did Amarillo and he did lots of other great songs as well. And he was performing in Las Vegas, in the 70s and things like that, and was very well known. And he's just recently returned from Nashville, and he said it was like wherever he was recording, that seemed very, very nice, and it seemed quite. He said it was like a holiday. He was like going. He was like coming over, and he was doing work, but it was like a holiday. So that's nice there when you've got that relaxation, isn't it? Yeah. In between your sessions, because at the end of the day, singing is a job of work as well, as well as enjoying it.
It is, and it's all a feeling, right? Yeah. And so you kind of have to be in the right headspace, and it can't be too technical or too logical. Even sometimes it's just like, you've got to feel it, so emotionally you kind of have to be there. And and I think there is something about, and it may not be, because I know I said Nashville can be 10 to 2. I think it's also just like, just leaving your own space and going to a new environment, and that's what I did with LA. I was like, I'm going to get away from here because this is my everyday routine, and I'm going to go there. And I've also done writing retreats where we just kind of go get a cabin in the middle of nowhere. And it's like, okay, nobody's going home. Like we're here to make this record. And it becomes this like very fun family kind of environment.
Yes.
And we're all there for the same mission. So there's no like, I got to do that. I have this meeting at this time, So we can kind of take our time. That's one of my favorite ways to write an album as well.
And do you ever have a time where you go, right, no mobile phones, we're going to do writing?
No more what?
No
iPhone?
mobile phones.
Oh, yes.
No mobile phones. Put them in the drawer. We're doing this.
Yes, exactly.
Yes.
Put your phone in the basket.
That's right. That's right. I'll throw it out the window if it goes
But you know
off.
what's funny is a lot of us write on our phones. So we
Yes,
can't.
yes. Yes, with Bandcamp and things like that. A lot of artists have Bandcamp on the phone, so they need that, you know.
Yeah.
And sometimes they'll talk into the phones as well in order to write music, like to write songs.
Well, yeah, I have to have my phone because it's like I have voice memos in there where I'm constantly recording melodies and writing titles and but I feel like a lot of Gen Zers that I write with, they write from their phones.
Right.
And I'm a millennial, so I usually work from my laptop. Like I have to see everything and I'm like this, and I can't have my phone necessarily like in my hand, but yeah, everybody's different in their approach to songwriting.
They certainly are. Now back to your brand new album, Best Days. What is your favorite track from the album and why?
I don't know if I have one. I feel like it can change every day, you know. But let's see. I think I would have to say Best Days. Like if I had to pick one song, it would probably be Best Days because that song is like an anthem for me, you know, because I remember when we wrote it, that was the moment of clarity that I had for the album. Yeah. And I was also kind of feeling the opposite because I've been doing music for a while now, almost 15 years. And it's like, sometimes I'm like, am I too old for this? Or I'll look back and I'll be like, well, maybe my best days are behind me. You know, maybe like I should just, I don't know. There's all these thoughts that any of us can have, you know, no matter what career you have or no matter how old you are, you can look back and be like, well, maybe it's all downhill from here. I don't know. Yes. And I know I'm still young, but sometimes there's just that because I started so young, it's like, you know, was that the window of time? And it's not never going to reach that peak again. So I was singing this over myself. And really, after this album came out, I have experienced the best days of my life the last 1.5 to 2 years. Yes. Even though I was going through such a hard time with, you know, divorce after being married for 10 years, it's like I found this new me and I feel more alive than I ever have. And I feel more confident. Like really, the older I get, the more confident I become and the more fun I have, the more like just solid I feel in life. Not that I don't have bad days, because of course
yeah, of course. But, yes, everyone has those, yes.
Yeah,
and I think your best days are your future, which is now.
I think so too. See, there you go.
Definitely. Because I'll tell you what it is. Sometimes I'll go, right, I've been broadcasting for 30 years, which was my anniversary just last year. And then I was thinking, you know, do I throw the towel in? But I've done it for 30 years, so let's see what happens in the future. Because maybe the best days will come. Bad days.
They will. They will. I love that it says, as long as you have breath in your lungs, like still more. There's still opportunity in front of us, and we can't give up. You know, we have to just keep going because you never know what could happen.
Exactly. Yes, but definitely we're having the best days now, and we're going to have the best days tomorrow as well.
Yes, I agree.
Indeed. Amen to that. Now, on your record label, is there anyone you would consider collaborating with? Maybe the owner of the label, Kill Records, LeAnn Rimes' father. Or I should say LeAnn Rimes. I don't know if our father can sing, actually, but...
Oh my gosh, yes. Like, that would be incredible. She's amazing. I listened to LeAnn Rimes when I was like 12 years old. She was one of the first artists that I remember listening to. You know, she was super young, and I hear stories all the time from my team about working with her. And there's so many legends that have been on Curb Records. So I don't know. She would be a cool one to collaborate with for sure.
Because every time I see the label Curb Records, I think of LeAnn Rimes, because I know that it's father that I'm sure he founded the label. And then I'm thinking, who else is on the label? Oh, Sarah Reeves is on there. Yes, that might be a nice combination.
Yeah. Yes, there was an artist. She's not with them anymore, but I know they have a lot of her songs, and she was with them for years. But
Yeah.
her name was Plum.
Right.
I don't know if you're familiar with her, but she's the one who actually discovered me when I was 17, right out of high school. And she brought me up to Nashville and introduced me to all the record labels and publishers and managers. And at the time, she was with Curb, and I didn't sign with Curb. I signed with another label, and then 7 years later, I ended up signing with Curb. And it's kind of this like full circle moment. And I have been, well, I wrote with her not too long ago for her project. It's just like this cool little community, you know, here in Nashville of just artists and songwriters. It's such a small world, so it's definitely easy to meet people and collaborate with other artists.
Excellent. Well, we'll watch this space, see if you do some kind of a collaboration with LeAnn in the future. And we need to get her on this show. I've been trying for the last 12 months. She's a very, 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 very busy lady. I think she had a single out. It came out last January or something.
Oh, gosh.
I've still been waiting for the phone call back saying, yes, she's available.
Aww.
So, LeAnn, if you're watching, I'll put a word in there, Sarah.
Okay.
Now, are there any videos that listeners can look up for this new album?
Yes, I have quite a few music videos on my YouTube channel. So you can just, I think it's youtube.com/Sarah Reeves Music. Yeah. And music videos are like my favorite thing. So I definitely always have to have a visual. So I think I have 5 or 6 songs from the album that I have videos for. That you can find.
Of course, we can go to your website as well, sarahreevesmusic.com. Is that right?
Yes, exactly. Yeah.
Yes, they're right there on the front page. That's where I watched your videos in any case. Okay. Now, on a different note, have you ever continued doing, considered doing, that's my spelling mistake there, considered doing reality TV?
No.
No. That would be my answer as well.
Yeah, definitely not. No, it's funny because I have been asked to do some of those like vocal, like The Voice and things like that, those kind of shows. And I think because I'm such a control freak, like I have to have final cut on like everything that I do. And to just like sign my everything away to producers and another show that could like, I could say something in a different way, or they could twist something, or I could embarrass myself on national television. Yes. Like, oh, that doesn't sound fun to me. And competition too is just not something that I'm a competitive person, but like competition makes me really nervous and I'm not my best self. Like, and so to be on reality TV, unless it was like maybe a show one day of my life and somebody following me around and kind of documenting, like maybe I would do something like that, sure. But competitions of any sort, no.
No. So you wouldn't be like, what? Do you know Laura Cheadle? Well, Laura Cheadle, well, she was on a TV show many years ago, and I think it was America's Next Family Band or something. And I think it was on NBC, I think it was on. And she was on that, but then she's recently just been on a game show as well.
Oh, yeah. That's
so fun. I was thinking, is the next thing she's going to do reality TV? But hopefully not, because, you know, if you're not in control, are you?
No, you're not. I mean, maybe like if it was something like the Kardashians or like something like that, I could see myself being like, okay, because I'm sure they get to watch everything before they release it.
Before it gets released. I hope so.
Yeah, they're live.
I appeared on a game show a couple of years ago. It was filmed, and it's still being shown now on ITV2. It's a show called Take Your Pick.
Okay.
And I only lasted for 10 seconds, but it was all when the lockdowns were and everything. I went up and I did the worst thing ever because I was told by the producer, said, go out there, it's your moment of fame kind of thing, your 5 minutes of fame, whatever. And I went out there and I hugged the host. He put his hand out and now goes in, hello there, Alan, I'm so pleased to meet you. So I would rather have that erased. Do you know what I mean? So I signed my rights to the, getting that removed, Yep.
So like you don't have any control.
No, so there's a perfect example for you there, Sarah. Don't do that either. Don't go on a game show there because you still look a fool 4 years later.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Now, do you have any future projects coming up you could tell us about?
I do actually. I'm always creating, always writing. So I actually have, I'm not sure when this is going to be aired, but I've got a EP of Get Back Your Fight coming out actually on tomorrow, April 12th.
Right, fab.
So yeah, Get Back Your Fight EP, which will probably be out. So that one has like a cinematic version that I love, and I just did a music video for that I will be releasing. And I've got a couple of remixes on that. I've got a remix for Billboards on Sunset coming.
Wow.
A brand new song that I started teasing January 1st of this year. I just was like teasing the demo and I didn't know that it would have the reaction that it did.
Yeah.
But it has been going viral. It's a song called More Than Enough. And that comes out on May 3rd.
Wow.
And it's a song that I am seeing like even more than I saw with any song that I ever have had, because Get Back Your Fight went viral, but this one's doing like 3 times as much as that one did.
Right.
So I think people are really relating to the lyrics because it's just about the fact that you are enough. I remember like going through a divorce and feeling like so fearful that I couldn't be an independent woman or like do things by myself because I was always attached to another human.
Yes.
And there's so many people that are in these relationships that may not be the best for them, maybe even toxic. And just because they're scared of being by themselves and feeling like they're not enough. And so many, specifically women, have been relating to this. So just wrapped up a music video for that. And that's all coming out. And we'll see after that. We'll see after
that. Definitely we will. Now, have a guess what I've got here. I've got a Sarah Reeves CD.
Wow,
so there you go. That's what it looks like there. For people who are listening on the radio, you'll be able to have a look at this interview with Sarah Reeves on YouTube, and you'll be able to see a copy of that thing as long as me green screen doesn't swallow the CD up. So can you see it all right there? So there you go then. And it has got 16 tracks on there. It's got Best Days on. It's got Billboards on Sunset. Trigg, who have talked about. Also, we've got that great track there with Taylor Hill, Back in Time. Oh, it's just a treasure trove of tunes for every mood that you have throughout the year. You can go, I'm going to put that Sarah Reeves CD on or get that download going. So we can follow you there, can't we, on Twitter and whatever else. And is it under Sarah Reeves Music?
Sarah Reeves Music. Yeah, I think Twitter is Sarah Reeves, and then I think everything else is Sarah Reeves Music. So Instagram, I'm really active on Instagram the most, and TikTok.
Fabulous. I'm gonna have to get more active on that. I could do with some of your millions and millions of views. Hint.
Yeah, check it out.
Get a copy of this interview out there. That'll give people a hoot. People might switch off though.
Yeah.
Oh, that Phil Wilson. Oh, not him. Hilarious. Well, unfortunately, I've run out of time, Sarah. It's been so wonderful speaking to you and catching up with you and find out what you've been up to. And would you like to come on the show again?
Yeah, that would be great. Yeah.
Fabulous. I look forward to catching up with you. Now, finally, would it be possible for you to introduce your latest single, which has been my gem of the week, Billboards on Sunset?
Sure. Well, this is Sarah Reeves, and this is one of my favorite songs on my latest album, Best Days. It's called Billboards on Sunset.
Sarah Reeves, it's been such a privilege speaking to you. All the best, and please keep in touch, and I look forward to speaking to you again soon.
Yes, all the best. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye.
Bye.